Sorry about that. Hello, everybody, and we hope you can hear you. Actually, this is a joint presentation from two schools. So my name is John O'Flynn. I'm from the School of Theology, Philosophy and Music. And this is my colleague, Dr. Jim Rogers, and he is from the School of Communications. And we're representing the two schools that make up this interdisciplinary program. So we'll move on straight away to our slides. As you can see, we're in a real office, and there's a little bit of rain outside, but it's fine. It's a normal December day in Dublin. Okay, so as you can see, it's MA in Music, Sound, Culture and Media. It's a new program that will be offered from September 2025. And we just want to, first of all, address some unique aspects of the program. First of all, as we said, it's new, but it's very important to note that this is an interdisciplinary program, and it brings together colleagues from two schools, as we said, Theology, Philosophy and Music, and the School of Communications. And so there's DCU expertise across both of those in music, sound studies, media studies, cultural studies, philosophy, communications, and other areas. And it's a studies-based program, an academic program, but also with creative and collaborative components. So other unique aspects are that it's hybrid delivery. So it's the first program of its type at DCU, and that facilitates participation by international and Ireland-based students together. We are very keen to emphasize that students are enabled to learn from each other's diverse background and disciplines. So if one person maybe comes from music, another one maybe comes from primarily a media background, or it could be another area of social science and humanities. You might be coming from English studies, but obviously you would have an interest in music and media and sound studies, or you might come from anthropology, for example. The course is assessed 100% through coursework, and reflecting the interdisciplinary nature of the course and its emphasis on intermediate aspects, we will have a variety of assessment types, including some that you may or may not have used before, for example, video essay. This program has full-time and part-time options, which we'll detail, full-time over 1 year, part-time over 2 years. And another unique aspect is that we have a summer school at DCU in the All Hallows campus, a beautiful leafy campus not far from the centre of Dublin, and that's in May of each year. So who is this course for? In the most general terms, it's for those who are curious about and eager to engage in interdisciplinary fields in sonic, media, sound, music, and who wish to pursue an academic program with options for creative practice, as well as critical, interpretive, analytical, and reflective components. You may fall into the second category there, like you are already a creative practitioner, or whether it's professional or something you do part-time, and you want to deepen your expertise through a period of reflective study and extend and have credentials for that practice. Or you may be an aspiring professional, somebody who wants to enter a profession or already is in a profession in cultural policy or community development. And you might envisage roles of creative leadership in music production, sonic arts, audiovisual production, and various types of screen industries. And other possible pathways from this program are those who might have longer term objectives to take on a PhD or some other research degree after their MA. So after this MA in Music, Sound, Culture and Media, someone might decide on the basis of that experience, I want to go on and do something that specializes in some aspect of audiovisual production or musicology or film music, sound design, ethnomusicology, or media studies or communications. Now, we mightn't have covered all the possible motivations for someone to pursue our MA, so we'd be very interested to hear from you if you have other ideas and other motivations behind that. So I'm going to pass it on to my colleague Jim, who will take the next couple of slides.
Hi everyone, and thanks John. Just to take you through the course delivery and how we do that. Well, all students who would register for this course would, across their period of registration, complete 90 credits, either over 1 year full-time or split over 2 years if you're doing it part-time. So you would complete 10 modules effectively. 3 of those would be three of those would be core modules, and 3 of them would be optional modules. So core modules that all students on the program would undertake, and optional modules where you have a suite of modules, a short suite of modules to choose from, and you can pick and choose which ones you would like to take to complement the core modules. And then everybody will do a project. The 30 credit module effectively takes the form of a long-term project, either over 1 year or 2, depending on whether it's full-time or part-time. And that could be a dissertation, or it could also be practice-based. And we can talk to that a little later on as well. In terms of how it's delivered, well, John already mentioned it's hybrid, but in terms of the lectures are primarily online. So here in DCU, we have 2 semesters, 12 weeks, effectively either side of Christmas. So most of the modules would be taught online, evening time, Dublin time, across semester 1 and semester 2. Each semester, we also have one in-person study day on campus. It would be a Saturday where we would meet on campus, where there would be an opportunity for everybody taking the course to actually meet face-to-face, and also meet staff teaching on the course to talk through aspects of different modules. And it's also a good opportunity to flesh out maybe what people are thinking about as their bigger project, and talk with staff around that. And then in May, there is a 10-day summer school. Again, this is mandatory for everybody, but while you are here, you would choose what you do. There would be optional modules that you would choose from. Just to briefly break that down, full-time and part-time. If it's full-time, then you would do in semester 1, 2 core modules and 1 optional. In semester 2, 1 core and 2 optional. The project, the dissertation, running over the entire year with the summer school in May.
In semester 2, it's 1 core and 1 optional.
Sorry, 1 core and 1 optional, apologies. And then the summer school option and the dissertation or practice-based portfolio, again, which would be year-long. And again, same workload, but split over 2 years if it is being done on a part-time basis. Maybe just to take you through some of the modules, we'll briefly introduce you to them in terms of their titles and 1 or 2 pieces of information about them. Myself and John and other colleagues, it's actually team-taught interdisciplinary studies in music, sound, culture and media, which is effectively, John, an introduction to the entire degree program. It's the key theories and concepts that underpin the program as a whole. So on that module, you get an opportunity. Pretty much every colleague would take 2 weeks to introduce key areas of their own modules, which you would then meet those colleagues again in those modules where you get them in full across the course of the program itself.
Yeah, and exactly, Jim, and it would be really important. I mean, if I was doing this program, I would be very keen to hear about studies from other areas. So for example, if you were a music graduate or you were a media studies graduate, it would be really important that you get to learn about academic approaches and the other disciplines on the program, so that you have an idea of how they might connect interdisciplinary in an interdisciplinary way. And also, we'll also be looking at areas like intermedial theory and discourse and how that might apply to practical research projects.
Research methods. Everybody will do research methods because it is fundamental to undertaking the project. In terms of, whether it's a dissertation, whether it's practice-based, research methods is where we prepare you for doing that big project, take you through the different methods you might apply and use when it comes to generating the primary research that you will use in your project, talk about research design, looking at the components of the project, the components of the dissertation, all geared towards preparing you. If it's full-time, this would be done. If you're doing it in 1 year, this would be done in semester 1. The idea being by the end of semester 1, you will have a plan in place to get your project up and running after Christmas. In terms of audio-visual media and cultural identities, John, do you want to talk to that?
Yeah, just briefly. So as you know, audio-visual media can include radio, TV, streaming, gaming, film, and many other types of media. So there will be some specific focus there on the theory and recent studies in relation to those media. But equally importantly will be how those medias are intricately connected to our culture and our societies. So the different identities that emerge from groups, from followers, from producers, from distributors, from consumers. So that'll be quite a varied module, I suppose, and it'll be a sort of a natural follow-on from the interdisciplinary studies in music, sound, culture, and media.
Those are the three core modules, and then maybe in the interest of time, rather than talk about all of the options, simply just to show you what they are. At different points in time, you'd have an opportunity to choose between doing a module on the global music industries or music, sound and screen media, on policies and infrastructures for the arts or practicum, or an audio production module or a module on leadership in music, sound, culture and media.
Yeah, and I'll just explain maybe just one of those, the practicum. So if some people might go for the policies and infrastructures of the arts, whereas the other choice would be in practicum would be to have something that's based on it, say in your own discipline, say you're primarily interested in media or in music, that you would actually work on something that's new within that. So it'd be like a small supervised project, but also supported by lectures and workshops.
And finally, to take you through the year-long module, the big project that you do. If it's a dissertation, then you'd end up producing a 15,000-word dissertation, but you were entirely in the driving seat. The dissertation, which you'd be prepared for through the research methods module, it's a space where you take fundamental aspects of the degree program as a whole, and then you apply them in an original way. But you decide what your project actually is. You can design your own research project around your own research interests. And then there's also the practice-based portfolio.
Yeah, and in terms of the practice-based portfolio, I suppose what we're particularly interested for this master's degree is interdisciplinary. So whereas, let's take the example of music, in more traditional degrees, and indeed it's possible to do this at DCU, someone might decide that they want a portfolio of original composition in a particular style of music. For this program, we will be looking at something that links music with other media. So, for example, it could be soundtrack production, it could be sound design, but of course there are other types of practice, like other types of audio production and visual production as well. So I think the core element will be that we would encourage students to think about interdisciplinary audiovisual projects that could focus on music or on media or indeed on culture, but that the practice would have an interdisciplinary element. I think that brings us to the end of our short talk. Thank you very much for your attention. And if there are questions, we can take them right now. Or indeed, you can obviously follow up with questions, which we'd be happy to respond to over time.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you very much, Jim. Very insightful presentation on the really exciting new course for DCU. Folks, if you have any questions, please do put them in the chat and we'll be able to answer them. I can see there, Ella, do the schools have recording studios or camera equipment that can be used for the assignments?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. So we would have, particularly for the, for example, if specifically for the module on audio production, that would have its own studio, and that would take place during the summer school. For the assignments, for example, if we were asking people to prepare video essays as part of the coursework, there wouldn't be a specific need to have a recording studio for that, but we will have workshops because there will be software that students would have access to. And what we plan to do, as well as embedding some instruction in the usual evening lectures, during the study days, we will actually have practical workshops on how to carry out those specific elements.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, John. Thank you for your question, Ella. I'll ask another question. Is there a chance for students to meet industry professionals?
Yes, partly because a number of our staff teaching on the course are industry professionals, so that's the first and most obvious answer. But also for students, obviously if you're taking the audio production, you will meet people like that for that course, but also for the module, which is leadership in music, sound, culture, and media, we will have people from not just industries, but also from the cultural sector as well, involved in that. So there will be opportunities and occasional guest lectures.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, John. Guys, has anyone else any other questions? Please feel free. Don't hesitate. Just type them in, and we'll gladly respond to any questions at all, be it about the course, be it about postgraduate life at DCU as well. We're here to help. So please do type in any questions that you might have.
Thank you for those questions, and anyone else that we can't see from here, thank you very much for tuning in.
Yes, thanks very much for tuning in, folks, and thanks again to John and Jim for that very insightful presentation. If you do have any other questions, guys, and you just don't want to ask them on the session, that's fine. You can reach out to us on the Postgraduate Hub for any other questions. In the meantime, thank you all for tuning in, and have a lovely afternoon. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.